Stop scrolling! You won't believe these are actually real laws in the United States. From ice cream crimes to underwater whistling. These laws are so bizarre they sound completely made up, but trust me, they're 100% real. Let's dive in! Let's start with one of the classic weird laws. In some parts of the United States, it's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket. Yes, you heard that right. Ice cream in your back pocket is banned. This law actually dates back to the 19th century, during the horse and buggy era. At the time, some clever but mischievous folks realized that putting ice cream in their back pocket was a sneaky way to steal horses. Horses would see the ice cream or feel it in the pocket and follow the person, effectively being led away without anyone noticing. So, lawmakers created a law to stop this unusual form of horse theft. Today, of course, horses aren't a common sight in most cities, and nobody's trying to steal them with ice cream. But technically, the law is still on the books in some places. Imagine explaining to a police officer that you were just carrying a cone in your pocket for a snack. This law is a perfect example of how practical rules from history can become funny and absurd over time. And it's not just ice cream. There are other strange laws like this that were created to solve very specific problems in their era. Keep watching, because the next law involving frogs is even weirder. Next up, frogs. Yes, frogs. In some U.S. states, there are actual laws regulating frog jumping contests. The most famous example is the annual Calaveras County Frog Jumping Contest in California, inspired by the classic story by Mark Twain. Believe it or not, this law isn't just a fun festival rule. It's an official regulation that requires participants to follow very specific guidelines. The contest was originally created to ensure fair competition, and it even specifies how frogs should be handled to prevent cruelty. According to the law, participants must bring their own frogs, and the frogs must be treated humanely. But the weird part is that technically, if you ignore these rules, you could be breaking the law. There are even penalties for cheating or mishandling the frogs. While it sounds absurd, these regulations reflect a larger trend in U.S. law. Quirky rules that blend tradition, competition, and sometimes a touch of humor. So next time you see someone with a frog, remember, in some parts of the U.S., that frog could be a legally protected competitor in a jumping contest. Moving on from frogs to water. Did you know that in certain U.S. states, collecting rainwater is actually restricted or even illegal without a permit? At first, it sounds crazy. Why would anyone stop you from saving rainwater for your garden? The reason goes back to water rights laws, especially in western states like Colorado. Historically, water was considered a communal resource, and all precipitation was claimed for agricultural use or private property rights. If you collected rainwater, you could theoretically interfere with downstream water rights, which could hurt farmers or local communities. Today, some states still require permits to collect large amounts of rainwater, while others have relaxed the laws, allowing small-scale collection for personal use. The law might seem overly strict in the modern era of sustainability and conservation, but it's a fascinating example of how laws evolve over time, and sometimes lag behind common sense. So, while you might think collecting rainwater is harmless, technically in some places, you need official permission, or you could be breaking the law. Next, we hop into the world of costumes. In some towns in the United States, wearing a bunny suit or certain costumes in public can actually be illegal. While it might sound like a joke, these laws often date back to concerns about public safety or disorderly conduct. For example, some towns enacted laws to prevent people from scaring others, causing accidents or creating disturbances while wearing costumes in public spaces. In other cases, these laws were tied to health, regulations, or historical traditions about parades and public events. While it's unlikely that police will chase you down for wearing a bunny suit today, technically these laws still exist. They're a quirky reminder of how communities tried to regulate behavior and maintain order, and sometimes ended up creating some of the weirdest rules imaginable. So next time you think about dressing up for fun, remember, in some parts of the U.S., your outfit could technically be against the law, even if it's just a fluffy bunny suit. And finally, one of the strangest laws of all. In certain U.S. locations, it's illegal to whistle underwater. Yes, underwater whistling is prohibited in some places, though why anyone would need this law is beyond bizarre. This law likely originated as a humorous or precautionary rule, perhaps to prevent distractions in public swimming areas or maintain safety in pools. Some historical records suggest that excessive noise or disruption in communal swimming areas was taken seriously enough to warrant regulation, and somewhere along the line, underwater whistling became a catch-all for silly behavior. The law stands as a perfect example of how incredibly specific and absurd legal rules can get. It makes you wonder how lawmakers decided to include this in official legislation. While you probably won't be arrested for whistling underwater, the fact that it's written in law is enough to make anyone laugh. These strange laws show a lighter side of U.S. legal history, mixing practicality, humor, and outright absurdity. From ice cream in your pocket to underwater whistling, the United States has some of the most amusing and unbelievable laws you'll ever hear about. So there you have it. Some of the strangest laws in the United States that are actually real. From preventing horse theft with ice cream cones, to regulating frog jumping contests, restricting rainwater collection, banning bunny suits, and even forbidding whistling underwater. These laws are bizarre, hilarious, and completely true. It's incredible to see how laws evolve over time. Many of these were created for very practical reasons back in history, but today, they seem almost nonsensical, and that's exactly what makes them so entertaining. If you enjoyed learning about these weird U.S. laws, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more fun facts, and comment below which law you found the most unbelievable. Would you ever try whistling underwater or carry ice cream in your pocket if it weren't technically illegal? Remember, the world of law isn't just serious. Sometimes it's downright hilarious. Stay curious, stay amazed, and I'll see you in the next video where we explore more unbelievable facts that are stranger than fiction.